through the Atomy business, I experienced a turning point 12 years ago. Have you ever experienced a turning point in your life? Have you? Yes. A turning point is the moment when your direction changes. We have many events in our lives, right? We have children, and before having children, we get married. Most people hope that marriage will become a turning point, don't they? Right. But did it really become a turning point for you? Yes. I also got married at the age of 35. I didn't really expect it to be a turning point, but sometimes when I see people for whom it does become one, I think it must be nice. I was born into a family that wasn't very well off, and I grew up thanks to the money my mother and grandmother earned through hard work. When I was young, I vaguely wished that we could live well, and I thought that if I worked hard, I would become rich. I'm sure many of you felt the same way, but things don't always turn out the way you imagine. So, when I got married at 35, I didn't really see it as a turning point in my life. But then another 10 years passed, and as I had children and raised them, I started to think that I wanted to raise my kids in a better environment than the one I had. But when that didn't seem possible, I felt frustrated and hopeless. And it was around that time that I came across Atomy. When I first encountered Atomy 12 years ago, I didn't immediately feel like it was a turning point. But looking back after 12 years, I realized that I actually experienced an incredible turning point. Koreans are known to work the hardest and the most in the world. All of you are probably working hard now, and you have in the past as well, but what kind of income are you earning from all that hard work? Yes, it's probably one of these four types of income, right? So, unstable high income, unstable low income, stable low income, stable high income. Which one do you fall under? Which category are you in? Yes? Yes. There are a lot of different answers. But before I started Atomy, I worked in insurance sales for 20 years. In fact, with insurance sales, if you just work hard, you can earn a high income, but it wasn't stable. If you work hard, you can make 10 million a month. Well, my colleagues, though I've never made that much, some of them earn 30 or 40 million, and there's even someone here today who joined as my partner and has an annual income of 700 million won. This kind of thing is possible in sales. But with sales, it's not easy to consistently maintain a high income in a stable way. Because of that, when you get a bit tired and slack off, your income drops and you end up earning less, but if you push yourself again, you make more. As your income goes up and down like this, even people who are really good at sales often find that their asset growth isn't as great as they expected. For example, people in insurance sales, car sales, or book sales can make money if they just work hard, but in reality, they often can't save as much as you'd think. The reason for that is because their income isn't steady. So what happens as a result? These days, more and more people are seeking stable, even if lower, incomes and are flocking to those kinds of jobs. Where do people find these stable, low-income jobs? Yes, as civil servants. These days, there are so many people trying to become civil servants, even taking the civil service exam before graduating from college or trying to get administrative civil service certification. And when your child becomes a civil servant, do you throw a party? Aren't you going to shoot? Let's treat each other, right? Yes, I was born in 1969. Back in our day, civil servants weren't really considered ideal marriage partners. But how is it now? Civil servants are considered good, right? And for female teachers, people have even started saying recently that they're the #1 choice for brides. Why is that? Even though the income is low, it's stable. Because the employment is stable, your job is guaranteed until retirement, and even after retirement, you can receive a pension higher than the national pension. These merits make people hope for stable, though low, income. What I want to introduce to you today is a business where stable high income is possible. With the Atomy business, stable high income is possible. Would you prefer stable low income, or do you prefer high income? Yes, of course, high income is better, but Atomy doesn't make you high income as soon as you start. However, it is a business where you can build stable high income. That's what Atomy is. What kinds of stable high income jobs do you know of? Earlier, CEO Yoon Young-soon gave us a wonderful lecture, didn't she? She is a doctor. Being a doctor is one of the most popular professions in our country. Why is it so popular? Is it because people really love performing medical procedures? Well, that's not really the reason. It's because the profession of a doctor comes with power, honor, and capital. That's why people like it. It's a stable, high-income job. That's true. And then there are judges, well, and lawyers too. In the past, in rural villages, if someone was born into a really poor family but studied hard, becoming a judge or prosecutor was considered a way to succeed in life. That's why elderly people in the countryside would sell their fields and cattle to pay for their children's education. This is what we used to call a dragon rising from a stream, someone achieving great success from humble beginnings. But is that even possible these days? Now, even for judges, prosecutors, or doctors, it's become difficult unless their families provide proper support. So, achieving stable high income is actually not that easy. And even when we talk about stable high income, what kind of income are we really talking about? It's earned income, earned income. Being a doctor is a wonderful profession, but doctors are still workers who perform medical labor. They're medical workers, and it's the same for judges and prosecutors. You only get paid when you work. You don't get paid if you don't work, right? But there is another possibility. If you start out as a doctor, but then run a business like a hospital, things can be a bit different. Or if you start as a lawyer but then open a law firm, things can change as well. If we don't build this kind of system, just studying hard and having some certification doesn't guarantee a stable, high income. So then what exactly is system income? System income refers to money that keeps coming in steadily, even when you're not investing your labor or time. When you've built a system, you earn money even while you're sleeping or having fun. I'm teaching you how to achieve system income, right? Why is that? It's because Atomy is that kind of business. So when we talk about system income, what's the most typical example? Traditionally, it's real estate, right? Real estate income. Next, these days, we can say that people who own intellectual property rights to cultural content, such as YouTubers, movies, and songs, are system income earners, but we don't have that ability, right? Most of the people here are ordinary people, and I'm also just an ordinary person, so I can't make songs, write books, or produce movies, right? But for ordinary people like us, the Atomy business is exactly what allows us to earn the same kind of system income as those people. Now, this is something you absolutely need to know. That's why I welcome those of you who were invited here today, even if you didn't really want to come. Do you think there are many things like this in the world, or just a few? There are almost none. It's very rare for ordinary people to have the chance to earn system income. But since Atomy is like that, it can't just happen. Yes, it doesn't come for free. Now, from here on, listen carefully. So why do we need to earn system income? I'm working hard, earning money, and living my life right now. But what about earned income? It has an end. There's an expiration date. I can't keep using my labor power forever. But in the past, people didn't live as long as they do now. People usually passed away around 70 or 80, and since they had 4 or 5 children, what happened? Their children became their insurance and supported them in old age. But how is it now? Now it's not like that anymore. And one more thing. We were born in a developing country, but now it has become an advanced nation. Isn't that right? The quality of your lives has improved so much, hasn't it? But now our children are born in an advanced country and have to live in an advanced country. They have to face old age in an advanced country. Because of that, tightening their belts isn't something they're used to. For us, if we earn 5 million won, we lived on 5 million. If we earn 2 million, we lived on 2 million. We could adjust like that. But for our children, that's not so difficult. So what do they call our generation? They say we are the last generation to support our parents and the first generation that has to prepare for our children's old age as well. It seems like everyone here agrees that this applies to us. Now, I'm talking about the baby boomer generation. So regarding earned income, at some point we will lose our ability to work, but even after we lose our ability to work, we still need to keep spending money. You need to prepare for this spending. It's not that we all have to become rich, but we do need to secure the fixed expenses we'll need until the day we die. There are only 2 ways to do this. Either you save up enough money while you're still able to work, right? If you save up enough money, it's possible. Second, you keep working until you die. There's only one of these 2 options. But neither of these is easy. Why is that? If you go to the National Statistical Office, you can see the population in real time. How many people were there in 1960? There were only 25 million people. But over 60 years, that number doubled. Because the population doubled, what happened to all aspects of the economy? They developed and expanded, and that's how we were able to become an advanced country. Why is that? Because an increase in population means a huge increase in opportunities. But at this point, by the year 2072, which is less than 50 years from now, what will the population decrease to? Yes, I will give it to you for 36 million people. We predicted that a population cliff would come, and it's already happening, but the problem is that while the number of people is important, the distribution is even more crucial. Back in the 1960s, it was a stable pyramid structure. The people at the bottom are those being born, and the top represents the elderly population. There was no one living to 100 years old. But how is it now? The elderly population keeps increasing, while the number of births keeps decreasing. So in the future, it will form a perfect inverted triangle structure like that. The problem with this is that the country won't be able to take responsibility for our old age, right? We, the working age population, have to support the elderly and the young who are not economically active. There need to be enough people paying taxes for us to receive things like the senior pension and the national pension, right? Receiving these kinds of benefits could become risky. So who needs to prepare? Who should prepare for my old age? You need to prepare now to support your future self. But is that easy to do? Or is it not? It's difficult to do that just with earned income. Is it easy for you to set aside exactly 1 million won a month as retirement savings? Is it difficult? No matter how hard you try, if you manage to scrape together 1 million won a month, how much is that in a year? 12 million? If you save for 10 years, that's 120 million. It's hard to save up 120 million like this, but how about spending 120 million? It's really easy, right? You can blow through it in no time at all. That's how hard it is to save that much. So this is something we need to be aware of and prepare for. But let me give you some hope. Now, from the day we're born until the day we die, what do? Earning money is hard. But there is something we can do. We can spend money. From the moment we're born, starting with diapers and formula, we begin spending money, and we keep spending until the day we die. But if you could make money just by changing the way you spend, would you do it or would you not? I think we should. Why? We are consumer experts. We are truly professionals when it comes to consumption, real experts at spending. That's why we keep spending until the day we die. But if you can make money just by switching from using this mart or that mart to using Atomy Mart, why not do it? Is there any reason not to? Come to a seminar like this and learn all about Atomy. And then just choose one from A, B, or C. You can simply make your own choice. You can be a consumer who just uses the products for yourself, a consumer who spreads the word, or like me, someone who decides to change their fate. So you can do it as a job, or you can decide to solve your retirement issue. In that case, you need to do it as a job. A and B are consumers. So if you choose to be a consumer, you can make rational purchases for the rest of your life, and you can even get some payback on what you spend. But if you choose C, what can you achieve? You can solve your retirement issues. In fact, the Atomy business can even help solve your children's retirement issues. Shouldn't you look into it, or should you just ignore it? Yes. Could those of you who are already running an Atomy business raise your hands? All right, very good. People like you truly have vision and courage. You had the insight to look into Atomy, but just having insight isn't enough. You also need to have courage, and you are people who have that courage as well. Once you start, where do you absolutely need to go? You need to go all the way to Imperial. But for those of you who are here for the first time today, you might be thinking, what is he talking about? You can do it. But if you listen until the end today, you'll probably gain some courage and become interested. Don't look for reasons why you can't do this, like, oh, I'm not good at network marketing, or this seems like sales and I'm not good at that. I guess I'll have to look into it. If this could really be an opportunity for my life, I hope you'll actively consider finding out more about it. Now, the reason this is possible is because Atomy has 7 rank levels from the start. I'm a Royal Master, which means I've moved up 5 levels. But this first level is really important. The first level, called Sales Master, is maintained in the first and second half of the month, and those who do this are called Auto Sales Masters. If you become an Auto Sales Master, your rank is evaluated every half month, and when you maintain it in both halves, you receive a commission of around 2 million won. If this comes in automatically, what do you think? Isn't that pretty good? Yes. So you just need to do this, but I'm sure this thought will cross your mind here. Can this really happen so easily, right? Can this just happen on its own? You have thoughts like this, don't you? Yes, that's right. It doesn't just happen. Nothing in this world happens automatically, especially with Atomy. It's not unearned income. It only works if you put in your own effort and invest your own time. So how do you do it? This is how you do it. You just need to find 50 people on your left and 50 people on your right, like yourself, who switch their shopping to Atomy and regularly use Atomy products. 50 people on each side, so 100 people? I don't know. Some of you are probably thinking this, right? Yes, but for now, set aside that fear and take a closer look at Atomy. After you learn about it, what you should do is start by using Atomy products yourself. So are there people here who already use Atomy Cosmetics? If you haven't tried Atomy Cosmetics yet, go ahead and buy some today and give them a try. It's 199 801. Yes, that's not the price for one, that's the price for all 6. So is it cheap or is it expensive? First of all, it's cheap. Yes, it's cheap, but I tried it and didn't like it. Just return it. You can return it, but if by any chance you end up liking it, can you switch from your current cosmetics to these? I think you probably could switch. It won't be easy to find cosmetics cheaper than these, especially for people over 40. If those people just switch to Atomy Mart, just changing their cosmetics alone gives them 100,000 PV just by changing their cosmetics. But let's say I really like the cosmetics. So if I really like the cosmetics, I can tell people around me about them. Why? Because they're cheap. You could talk about this and get 50 people who use cosmetics, or even if you say you don't know 50 people, you don't have to do it alone. Here's another piece of good news. You do it together. It's something you build together. If you find people to spread the word with you, let's say I told 5 people, and then my partners, 3 of them, each told 5 people. So if I told 5 people, how many people have actually been told? It ends up being 20 people who have heard about it. This is what the Atomy business is like. That's why in Atomy, it's not just capable people, good salespeople, or those with a lot of money who succeed. Anyone can succeed. So, for example, 50 people on your left, 50 people on your right. If you achieve this, you'll earn about 2 million won in income. Do you think 2 million won is a lot? Is it small? Is it a lot? Are you not sure? You don't know because you haven't received it yet? Yes, we can earn 2 million won as labor income in Korea, right? But what if you keep getting 2 million won until you die? Is that a lot? Is it small? It's actually huge, right? Even a large sum of money becomes small if you earn it for a short time, but even a small amount becomes big if you earn it for a long time. Earning 2 million won until the day we die is never an easy thing. Earlier, I mentioned stable high income, right? How many years do public servants who are known for their stable high income have to work before they can receive a pension? There's a minimum number of years you have to work. How? How many years is it? Yes, the minimum is 10 years. But even if you work for 10 years, you can't receive 2 million won. How much do you get? How many years do you have to work? Yes, usually, though it varies by rank, generally, you have to work as a public servant for 20 or 30 years to receive 2 million won. So the fact that in Atomy, you receive 2 million won when you reach the first rank of Auto Sales Master is actually an incredibly large amount of money. You understand, right? Are you glad you came today? Yes. If you agree, and to help wake you up, shall we give a round of applause? Yes, very good. Now, I believe that spending this precious time here today is truly a blessing. Because even though we live in a flood of information, there is so much information that is just useless and consumed pointlessly. But Atomy is different. This is truly valuable information. If you stay until the end and listen today, I believe you'll definitely be able to find what kind of opportunity lies within this for you. And here's why. There are reasons why Atomy is the obvious choice. And what's the first one? These are daily necessities you have to use anyway, but they're good and inexpensive. Everyone. You have to use these things anyway. Let's say you join Atomy because you really like it, but you have to buy things you never used before. There are network marketing companies like that too. Yes, in that case, it's hard to keep it going. But if it's something you're going to use anyway, all you have to do is change where you shop. But even if it's good, it's expensive. That still makes you feel a bit uncomfortable. But if it's good and cheap, then you're not losing anything. And not only do you not lose out by telling others, you actually benefit from it. That's why we can confidently share Atomy with others. And when you share it confidently, getting 50 people on your left and 50 people on your right isn't all that difficult. So this is possible. And everyone, Atomy only has 2 lines. Just 2 lines with unlimited levels. Because it's just 2 lines with unlimited levels, it's different from other traditional networks where you have to build 6 or more lines. It's incredibly easy. So all you need to do is create 2 groups of consumers starting from yourself. That makes it simple, right? And on top of that, there are so many people here today who have come from overseas, right? As you heard in the speeches earlier, this is expanding not only within Korea, but all over the world. If I start in Korea and then go to the US, I don't have to start over in the US or start over again in Malaysia. Whether I do it in Korea or Malaysia, everyone is included within my 2 groups, forming a single unified group. So because this is Global One marketing, it's guaranteed to work. But there's one last amazing thing. What is it? Whether you registered someone yourself or someone else did, as long as they're within your genealogy, everything is recognized as yours, with no limit to the levels. So think about this logically for a moment. Is it even possible for this not to work? Is there any way this could not work? Whether I registered them or someone else did, they say it's recognized for unlimited levels. So as you go further and further down under me, do you think there will be someone who's even more passionate about Atomy and has even bigger dreams than I do? Or do you think there won't be? Of course there will be. It's just that we don't know when, but eventually someone like that will appear. That's why, as long as you don't give up, anyone can succeed. That's the reason why there are so many success stories in Atomy. So once you really get to know Atomy, I don't think you'll be able to resist doing it. I believe that once you understand it, it'll be hard to find a reason not to do it. So what's the very first thing you need to do? To earn system income, you have to make some effort, right? The first effort, ta-da, it's this. I'll write down 100 things first. Currently, Atomy shopping mall in Korea has about 600 different products. Out of those 600 products, I use 100 of them. I'm using them. Now, all the business members have raised their hands, right? Those of you who haven't raised your hands yet, you must be here for the first time. Yes. Even those of you who are here for the first time can use 100 products. I hope you try them out in a very short time. With Atomy, just by changing things in your kitchen, you can switch out a dozen or so products. Shall we try changing the kitchen? The kitchen. First of all, there are 2 types of scrubbers. What do we have? There's a steel scrubber, a stainless steel scrubber, also a sponge scrubber, and dish soap. What else is there? Also, rubber gloves, and then sanitary pads, kitchen towels. There are so many things. If you change all these just by switching things in the kitchen, you can change a dozen or so products. Shall we try changing things in the bathroom as well? Shampoo, conditioner, body cleanser, toothpaste, toothbrush, incidental brush, right? It's so easy to switch out 100 different items. But if you don't use Atomy, are these products you wouldn't use at all? Of course not, right? You'd use them no matter where you are. So what should you do to make the switch? Many people think they have to finish using up all their current products before trying these out. But at the very least, those of you who have come to the Success Academy, those of you here right now, should take a look at Atomy, because Atomy doesn't care about your age, your education, or any of that. But there is one thing it does care about. You have to be a satisfied Atomy customer in order to do the Atomy business. And the only way to know if you're a satisfied customer is to actually try the products yourself. Now, when I say this, some of you might think, oh, she's just saying that to sell products. You might misunderstand. That's right. That's true. I really do want to sell them. Why? It's really good? It honestly frustrates me when I see people buying things elsewhere that aren't even as good as ours and paying more for them. Seriously, try using Atomy. But the important thing isn't whether you buy it or not. The important thing is that you actually compare Atomy products and try them out. What happens when you compare and use them? You might think, oh, it's not even better than what I used before. It's not even better, and it's just more expensive. If that's the case, then don't bother with Atomy at all. But when I tried it, I found it really good. Then you can confidently recommend it to others. Even just by using it yourself, you're already benefiting, right? So let's make it a point to personally use 100 different products first. I believe that if you're a business partner, you should be able to try out every product you use at home. So after trying out 100 products, once you've met that requirement, then go out and meet 100 people. At the very least, talk to 100 people about it. It's not about creating 100 consumers. No, that's not it. First, let me meet 100 people myself. Then, if I meet 100 people, my partner meets 100 people, and my sponsor meets 100 people, that's how you end up with 100 consumers. You just need to manage these people well. How? How do you manage them well? It's not about rushing them into the business or telling them to get rich quickly. First, you need to turn them into loyal users of the products. All you have to do is talk to them about Atomy. Whether they use the products or decide to do the business after that, that's up to them, isn't it? Can you change someone else's mind at your own will? You can't. We are the ones who spread the word and let people know that there's information out there. Once you share that information, whose decision is it to actually do it? Yes, it's up to them. Our job is just to inform them. So if you meet 100 people and tell 100 people about Atomy, you'll end up with 100 consumers. But what should you do to turn them into loyal users? This is what you need to do. Now, just meeting people isn't the end of it. You meet them and say, do you like Atomy? Do you like Atomy? Is Atomy good? Even if we don't say anything, everyone already knows. The word has already spread everywhere. Atomy has now established itself as a brand. Is there anyone who doesn't know Atomy? If you don't know, you must be living under a rock. So there's really no need to even mention it. But even though people know Atomy is good, if you go out there, you'll see that hardly anyone is actually using 100 different products. So what do you do when you have to write these 100 things? You have to keep following up with them and help them switch their shopping over to Atomy. To do that, you can't just meet them once. You have to meet with them continuously, help them switch their shopping over, introduce them to new products, and you shouldn't just say, Atomy cosmetics are really great, or the detergents are really good. What is our job? Our job is to introduce the product, because if we go up against people like Jun Ji-hyun or Jo In-sung, we'll definitely lose. We lose in looks, in age, and in fame. People trust the products those celebrities advertise more than they trust Atomy products. So what should we do? You have to let people experience the product. You absolutely have to let them try it first. When people try it, they know whether it's good or not. Why? Because we are consumer experts. Consumers know very well. So after letting them try the products, what should you do next? You need to guide them so that they can receive commissions. That way, whether they choose to be consumers who only use the products themselves, consumers who spread the word, or even do this as a business, they have options. So after making sure they can receive commissions, what should you do next? If you invite them to seminars like this, that's how it becomes a business. Do you understand? Yes, just follow this process. Now, as for Atomy business members, actually, Atomy has been around for 15 years now. Yes. Founded in 2009, Atomy has produced a great number of successful people. Not only in Korea, but also overseas. There are so many consumers emerging. In fact, Atomy has achieved success through this kind of system. Think about it carefully. Those of you who are doing the Atomy business, if there were no system, if there were no seminars, do you think you could have succeeded? Earlier, our CEO, Yoon Young-soon, talked about habits, right? What are habits? We all want to develop good habits. But what is there? There is resistance. There is resistance. We have to succeed. We hear something once and try to muster up our willpower. But when we go out into the field, we face not only our own personal resistance, but everyone encounters it. Rejection, right? People don't really know about Atomy because they don't really know. They reject it without even taking a look, just because it's considered multi-level marketing. That's why there's no one who actually enjoys being rejected. Rejection is uncomfortable for everyone. So as you keep facing rejection over and over, you end up giving up. That's why when you do the Atomy business, if the system doesn't come into play, you just work hard for about 3 months or 6 months and then end up quitting. But what happens if this system does come into play? Even though I was hurt by being rejected, when I see that the person who was also rejected overcame it and succeeded, and later, when you have a meal and watch the promotion ceremony, you'll witness another moving drama unfold. There, you'll see people who have completely turned their lives around, and it's going to be an incredibly touching experience. Everyone, you absolutely must not just leave after eating. Yes, after your meal, you really have to watch this drama that's even more interesting than any unbelievable story out there. How will you feel after watching it? I'm just like that person. I also went through tough times like they did. So does that mean I can do it just like them? You end up gaining that kind of courage. That's why we say you need to plug into this system. What is a plug-in? Everyone, you all have your phones in front of you on your desks, right? Some of you have really high performance phones, don't you? Who here thinks their phone is super high performance? Yeah. Are these people useful if this thing doesn't charge and discharges? No? They're absolutely useless. Yes, if your phone's battery is dead, it's completely useless, right? No matter how high performance it is, it needs to be charged. Even the best car needs to be charged. If it's not charged, it becomes useless. It's the same for our Atomy business partners. If we don't recharge our energy, we can't keep going strong. We're no different from a phone with a dead battery. That's why you all need to keep getting recharged through the system. At first, you come to learn the basics, then you come to study, and after that, you sit together with your partners, learning and recharging together. You have to recharge this energy if we want to make it to the end. You must never skip coming to this system. Understood? Yes. And there is someone I truly love. Atomy is a family business, you know. Who do you love the most? Your own blood. You love your own blood the most, right? So, shall we see a show of hands from those who have invited their family members here today? Those who have invited their family members. Yes, there are so many, so many. We told our families the same thing earlier. For example, siblings doing the Atomy business together. Your own children. Earlier, President Park Erin also got her son and daughter-in-law involved. And even her sister, she brought her whole family into Atomy. Why is that? It's because Atomy is something that really works. If you truly love someone, you should have them sitting here with you. People say the economy is tough this year, right? Yes, it was tough last year too. Was it any better the year before that? No, it was difficult the year before that as well. It's not that the economy is just tough right now. In fact, we're not in a recession right now. We've entered a period of low growth. Now, as we face the fourth industrial revolution, jobs are gradually disappearing, and it's becoming increasingly difficult for all systems to improve. That's because there is no budget. So it's not just you who are struggling, your neighbors are struggling too. That's why I believe that sharing Atomy information with your neighbors is ultimately a way of loving them. That's why you need to share Atomy well with others. People only make decisions when they come into the system. I'm pretty good at speaking, aren't I? Yes, I do speak quite well. This is a talent I received from my parents. I thought that if I spoke well, people would listen to me and make decisions. But they didn't. My older sister is here today, and it's been 12 years since I started Atomy. I came out to do business after 9 years. If I were really that persuasive, do you think my sister would have waited 9 years? No, she would have been swayed by my words and started much sooner. But really, it's when people come to the system, see the vision of others, and think, I can relate to what that person is saying. Some people make up their minds after hearing from director Yoon Young-soon, some after listening to President Park Aran, and I sincerely hope that today there will be someone who decides after hearing my story. Yes, today. Yes. Yes, thank you. There are people who make up their minds after hearing my story, and later, during the promotion ceremony, many people truly make their decisions. And some decide after coming to a one-day event, and others make up their minds at their local club. That's why it's so important to have people sitting here in this place. I really hope you'll put even more effort into inviting people to this place, and if you meet someone, when is it truly finished for that person? It's only finished when they come to the system. For us, it's only complete when we've invited them. You understand, right? Do you all want to succeed in Atomy with confidence? I really want to succeed. Yes, I really want to succeed. Yes. What about those of you who didn't raise your hand? Are you still debating whether or not to succeed? Yes, go ahead and succeed. After all, you only live once. I want to succeed. I want success. If that's how you feel, I hope you'll focus with confidence. Let me boast about just one thing before I step down. I'm really trying to finish early for you all. I'll wrap up about 3 minutes ahead of schedule. 12 years ago, I started the Atomy business, and at first I thought it was just a way to make 2 million won. But as I continued with Atomy, I realized that this was something that could change my life and become a turning point for me. So, the life scenario, I assume you'll be writing yours today, right? Yes, I started writing my life scenario in detail. At first, it's not easy to write, but the more I got into Atomy and learned about it, the easier it became to write. Why is that? Because I started to believe in it? Because I believed in it, I was able to write it. I've written down various things myself, and one of them was about my beloved older sister, whom I mentioned earlier, who came back after 9 years. I wrote that for my 60th birthday. I wanted my whole family to go on an overseas trip together. It was the win then. But I achieved that this past January. Yes. Thank you. Honestly, my heart wanted to go to Europe, but since it was our first time, I was worried we might get spoiled from the start, so we went to Nha Trang instead. We went to Nha Trang, Vietnam, 8 of us, including my mother, my sister's family, and my own family, and we had an incredibly happy time together. The reason I'm sharing this is because there are certainly people out there who, even without doing Atomy, are financially able to celebrate their entire family's 60th birthday. But for me, no matter how much I worked in sales for 20 years, our family just wasn't in a position where my husband or my sister could afford to spend that kind of money every time someone turned 60. But because I did Atomy, because I was involved with Atomy, I was able to dream those dreams, and through Atomy, over the past 12 years, I was able to achieve those dreams as a result. Everyone, make sure to write your life scenario tonight. Then I believe that in 5 or 10 years, those dreams will become your reality. At this moment, through this very time today, I hope that as many of you as possible will seize this as a turning point. And with that, I will conclude while cheering for your success. Thank you.